So we haven't done a cell phone unboxing or review on the channel for some time, but the folks over at, I want to say it's Infinix Mobility, ask us if we wanted to take a look at this new camera. It's their 035G. Now they sent over the 256 gig version. It says it's got 21 gigs of RAM, 12 plus 9. I'm not sure why it says 12 plus 9. Like, is it 9 from somewhere else? I'm not 100% sure. Actually, there's some specs on the back. You guys can take a look at that. It's a 4K 60 FPS video, which is good. 50 megapixel front vlog camera. Really? 108 megapixel OIS, so optical image stabilized, ultra clear camera, and I'm guessing that would be on the back. 68 watt supercharger on it. MediaTek Dimensity, yep. 8020 5G powerful processor, and massive extended RAM of up to, it says up to 21 gigs. Now, spec wise, just so I'm going to try to read all this here. MediaTek, yeah. Display is a 6.7H FHD plus, 144 hertz, which is awesome. 144 hertz. 3D curved AMOLED display. Sweet. Resolution 1080 by 2400. Not bad. Battery capacity is a 5,000 milliamp. Network is 5G, 4G, 3G, 2G, etc., right? Operating system is Android 13. Sensor is, what does it say here? The sensor is a G sensor, an E compass, an L sensor, I don't know, I can't pronounce that, can't see it. Proximity. Now I know. See my eyes, right? Proximity sensor, fingerprint, and a gyroscope. Very cool. It does say 256 gigs of storage plus 21 gigs. And that's at up to. I don't understand the up to. 50 megapixel front camera, rear camera 108 megapixel, plus a 13 megapixel, plus a 2 megapixel. I'm guessing that's all the way down to the macro. So my guess would be 108 would be your primary, 13 would be maybe the ultra wide, and then maybe it's ultra wide, maybe it's telephoto. I don't know which they have. 2 megapixel is going to be your macro, and connectivity, GPS, Wi-Fi, etc., etc. So we're gonna crack this open, but before we do that, we'll take a look at their website and see what else they can tell us about it. Okay, so here it is, right? 035G, capture your own story. I'm hoping that we get good video out of it. That would be awesome. Again, here's a whole bunch of that specs. It says it's got Corning Gorilla Glass. Nice. I wish I could click on this and see this up to 21 gigs. I'm curious about that. Unleash your world. It's just kind of flying all over the place here. Where is it going? What is it showing me here? The page is like I'm scrolling, but I don't know if anything's actually happening. Oh, I guess it is. Can I go right or left? Yeah, it's hard to see. Autofocus, yeah, we're good. Their website, I guess that has a little scrolly guy here. Dual video. Oh, capture both sides. That's actually included right in the phone. That's kind of nice. It has a night mode. Film master in your hand. Okay, well, we'll see about that. Style makeup. I'm hoping that's something that we can turn off maybe. Sky remap. Turn hazy days into not. Explore more with 108 megs. What is that? 108 megapixel action camera. Okay, I'm super, I'm super curious. It has a 0.6 times for wide, all the way up to a 3 times. All right. You guys, you know what? You guys can go through their website. You get the idea. Yes? All right. Anyways, this is it. This is it. So, let's open this up because I like cell phones, and you guys know I'm usually an iPhone person, but I love that on Android there's so many companies that can be like, hey, we're gonna make a phone and we're gonna shock the industry. I don't know, right? I'm just saying. I'm not saying this is shocking the industry, but maybe it will. Maybe you'll be like, wow. How much does it cost? Well, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? So let's say we were in. These are not a lot of Canadian, so maybe it's not something I can get over here right now. Maybe I don't know. So if you're in Pakistan, then it's going to cost you something. I don't have no idea. I have no idea how much it costs. I'll see if I can find out the price in like US dollars or Canadian dollars, and then I'll put it in the description. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, anyways. Is that actually the color? Ooh, that's different. That's a different color. I like that. They went all out on the you know, kind of advertising on their phone for sure. Now you can also see there's your sim tool. I always need those. Comes with its own little case, which is great. We see those especially with phones that aren't like big brands because nobody's making a case necessarily specifically for them. It comes with earbuds. What? It actually, look at that. Comes with little earbuds. That is something. Nice long charging cable, USB-C, I appreciate. And it comes with a fancy, not North American charger, which makes sense since it doesn't really even seem like they delivered to the North America, Canada, US, right? But it's hefty. Nice to have. Cool. And I have adapters, so we should be okay. We should be okay. Anyways, this is it. Let's open it. Let's open it somehow. There's an open on here. There it is. What color is that? That is a different color. Yes? It's kind of got this weird kind of like it shifts colors a little bit. Just a little bit. I like that. I do. Can this sticker come off? Yes, it can. Excellent. We don't want that. That's all right. I don't mind that. And those are big lenses. Yeah, so there's your light. Those are two really big lenses. Those are chunky for sure. I'm guessing that one there is your macro. So that 2 megapixel is my guess. Okay, that's and there's the curve. You guys can see. I'll put it like there. You can see the kind of curve on it. Yes. As far as like that's got a little bit of elegance to it. That's okay. I don't mind that at all. That's kind of nice. And it's got I'd say it's peachy, but they're gonna probably say it's gold. There's where your SIM card goes in. There's your USB-C. There's your speakers. And as far as I know, it's stereo. So there's speakers there, and yeah, speakers right there, right? And shall we turn this on? There's got to be a turn on button. One of these is a turn on button. That's how you know I don't play with Android that much. My guess would be this one. Now the other oh, wait, there we go. Yeah. Oh, see, that's lovely. Oh, I like the curved screen. It's already fingerprinty already. But that's okay. Yes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. I'll show you a little bit of the setup here. But English, United States, yes. I do like the curved screen. I didn't know if I would. I've never used one that has a curved screen. Why does this say select country or region? I guess I can go down here. Here we go. It's so funny that it doesn't even have Canada in here. Nope. It doesn't even have Canada in the list. It doesn't seem to. Does it have United States? It doesn't even have United States. If I go back, right? English, United States, come forward, India, Indonesia, and then you go through here, and as you can see, no Canada. Go to the bottom, right? No United States. There is an other. That's bizarre. Insert SIM card. Well, I might do that later. Skip. Connect to Wi-Fi. Yes. So I have a bunch here, so let's just connect to this one. The keyboard itself seems very responsive, which is excellent. But I do like it has a nice little haptic, little vibration when you're putting all that stuff in there, which is good. Connected. Awesome. Next. Terms of use, da 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 da. I don't care. Getting your phone ready. So I think, first off, I kind of like that. That's a nice feel. It's a nice look. I actually kind of like the peachy color. I'm gonna say peachy because they say gold, but I'm gonna say it's probably more peachy to me. I'm going with peachy. I'm gonna let this get my phone ready. What I'm gonna do then is get it all set up. I'm going to install some like benchmarking software, some gaming software on it, and I'll take some photos and videos with it, and then we'll continue the video once I have all that done. But as of now, yeah, I'm down. That's kind of nice.
All right, guys, so I have been playing with this phone now for the past few days, and I have to say I actually really like it. Now, again, I don't know for sure the exact price of what this is and if you can even get it like in Canada and North America right now, but if I can find that out, I will leave links down below. A few things that I like about it. I do like the size. I currently use an iPhone 14 Pro, not a Max, but a Pro. And it is a bit smaller than this, but I have to say this is a great size. I like the fact that it's like taller versus wide, so it still fits in your hand really well. Now, the only thing, of course, is that, you know, being able to reach from here to top a screen, that's a big jump, right? So it is going to be a little more two-handed for things like that. I really like the curved. I didn't think I would, but I'm quite fond of it. And the fingerprint scanner that is in screen. You guys can see it here, and you can see how fast it reacts. Like, boom, done. So that's really nice as well. I like that. Now, when I was setting this up, of course, there were a bunch of updates, anything from security updates from Google. There were, of course, all my app updates, etc., etc. Also, if you are switching from an Android phone or an iPhone, there is software on there that helps you along with the switch, especially going from Android to Android. It allows you to actually place the two phones kind of side by side so that you can move data back and forth. So we actually ran a couple benchmark tests on here. So what we'll do is we'll go over to the computer, take a look at that. We'll also go through what this camera kind of claims as its selling feature is we'll look at how the camera performs, because we did take some pictures in the daytime, we took some pictures at nighttime, as well as we took some video. So we'll actually talk about that over at the computer, and then we'll give our final thoughts on whether we think this is a good phone. Okay, so we are over here now. So the first thing that we did once we actually downloaded and got the phone running was run some software, some benchmarks on it. So the first one that we did was actually 3D Mark. And you can see here we're using the wildlife on that. You can kind of see some of the scores here. So if you guys are interested, I'll actually put you the final score of the wildlife test here on the screen right now, so you guys can see that. But you know what, for a phone that's not flagship, I would say, you know, very good. And I think for the majority of us that may be using this for just playing, you know, games, moderate level games that need kind of a fair bit of oomph, but not the peak, we should be good. I actually played a few games on it. After that, we actually went and loaded up Geekbench. This was Geekbench 6. And we ran all of the tests. So we ran the CPU test, and then we ran the 2 GPU tests. So you can see here that the CPU benchmark results, we got 999, that close to 1,000 for single core. And then we got 3323 for a multi-core score. And that again was on the CPU benchmark with Geekbench. And you guys can kind of see here some of the specs of the actual phone. So again, Android 13, the ARM processor, and running 8 cores in total, a 2 gigahertz cluster, and a 2.6 gigahertz cluster. We also ran the GPU tests. This first one was on OpenCL. And again, we'll put the results up here on the screen. So OpenCL gave us a 4265. again, if you're looking at other phones, you can do a comparison to see how well that is in comparison to the phone that you're currently looking at. We also ran the Vulkan test on it, so the GPU test on that, and we got a very similar score at 4386. So again, you know, for bang for buck, what this phone is, you know, can you get faster? Yeah. Can you get slower? Most definitely. I think this one was actually doing quite well. And for me, usability over the last couple days has been great. I've really never experienced any kind of issue where I found that speed was going to play into it at all. Everything ran very smooth. So from a user experience, yeah, it was good. We also ran, for those of you that are not going to be using this, for instance, as a, let's say, gaming device, which probably most of you wouldn't be using this. Most of us would be using it, like myself, for day-to-day tasks. I did run PC Mark, which kind of runs it through its standard, you know, web browsing and text editing and photo editing and some video editing. Not gaming, but general day-to-day usage. And you can see here that we got, let's see, a 14426. So it is saying that we didn't have enough data to compare it to other phones. But again, watching the benchmark go through and my own personal usage with this phone over the past couple days, you're going to have no issues at all with this. One of the things to remember is that I saw this in the phone, is that it talks about this 21 gigs of RAM. So what it is there's physically 12 gigs of RAM on the phone, and then you can allocate upwards of 9 gigs of internal storage to be used as RAM. So you get that initial 12, which is real RAM, and then you get up to 9 gigs. It defaults at 6, but you can push it up to 9, and that'll give you that 21. So it's not 21 true gigs of RAM, but with the speed of hard drives nowadays and solid states that are in these, we're probably getting fairly close, and it does allow you to allocate that. Plus, with the fact that this has 256 gigs of internal storage, then you're losing 9 gigs is not a big issue to allocate that into memory. So the last test that we did was GFX Bench, and this runs a pretty intensive test on the phone. And you guys can see here again, I'll just kind of scroll through with the video here. So basically what you're seeing with this program is that it throws multiple scenes at the phone, and these 3D scenes are then pushed out at different resolutions so that we can see the frame rate of these scenes at different resolutions. And you can kind of see, oh, you know what, I normally play at X, so I get this kind of frame rate. Oh, I normally play at this, so I get this kind of frame rate. So if this is useful to you, you got some information. Last but not least, of course, let's take a look at some of the photos. So I'm going to bring up information here on my screen just so you guys can see this. And as you can see here, this is it's pretty crazy, right? This is the front-facing selfie camera that they talk about, 8,000 by 6,000. Now, I would say, and it really depends. This can happen with any phone. I did get some blowout on this one right here, but other than that, pretty decent. This one is a little better. I hopped into the shadows. Same thing, front camera. And if we zoom in here, you know, it is pretty crispy. I'll give it that. You know, they say it's 50 megapixel. You can even see that. Look at that nice little stray eyebrow hair that I have to trim. Sorry, it is what it is. That's who I am. Indoors, again, we're not having a large ability to take in brights and darks, as you can see here. We are seeing a lot of blowout happening, but it is a clean image. I'm pleased with it. We did switch to the front camera, and you can see here, this is I believe the 108 megapixel. So if we zoom in on this, again, we're having a little bit of blowout issues, right? A little bit of blowout issues. But as we zoom in, you know, we are seeing where it does hit focus. It is pretty clean for sure. Now, I will say, that 108 megapixels on a camera like this. Same thing with the 50 megapixels on the front-facing camera. Are they true 50 megapixels and 108 megapixels? It's hard, you know, it's really hard to say, because just the past week, I was shooting with a Sony a 61 megapixel image, and when you zoom in on that one, it is clean, like ridiculously clean. And of course, on a cell phone, you can see when you zoom in, right? It's good, but there is still, again, a lot of that compression that's there. But you know what? If you were shooting landscape and things like that, I would say that you would be okay, especially like here, right? It's pretty sharp. It's not too bad when you can zoom in that far. But you know, you see 20 megapixels and 12 megapixels that are probably catching pretty close to similar with that. Yes. So, but 108 here, if you can get really good lighting, or if you can play around with lighting, like that looks fantastic. That's a fantastic. You get a little bit of blur in the back. You zoom in here, you know, you're pretty crispy, which is kind of nice. So not too bad. Again, you know, you get that nice little blur in there. 108 megapixels. That's crazy. And I think for the most part, it does actually very well. So same idea here. I don't know where focus hit, but I think it was down here, possibly. You can see the compression, right? There's that compression that's really happening right now. It's a nice advertised look. Whatever. This is the portrait look right here. So this was shooting at f1. Now the one thing is I flip these because normally everything is backwards. So just so you guys know. So that's f1. I think that's f4, and that's f16. So it does an okay job. I don't know. I'm getting some weird emphasis on the eyes, which I'm not overly fond of. I'm not quite sure what it's doing there, but it's okay. Let's go to nighttime shots, shall we? So nighttime, I'm just going to show you these ones here because this is kind of the two that I think are the most important. So if you look at this one here, and I'll bring up my info again, this was shot, and when you run night mode, it actually drops it down to 12 megapixels. So look in this area, and this is really where night mode kicks in. So if you look at that versus that, yes, right? Night mode, not night mode. Night mode, not night mode. And you can see in anything where you're going to have excessive light, it kind of processes that, and you can see that on both lights. Everything else in the scene is actually very close. The road in the back got emphasized a little bit more, right? So again, it just kind of punches out parts that need to be kind of worked on. Is it a big difference? No, but is it there? Yeah, for sure. It's okay. It's good. I don't mind. All right, let's look at video. So a few things with video. Number one was that I didn't realize until about maybe half into shooting that it defaults to 1080p. You can push it into 4K 30, which I did. But when you go into 4K 30, you lose your image stabilization. So if you want to be able to turn image stabilization on, as far as I can tell, you have to shoot in 1080. Is that a big deal? Well, for some it could definitely be a big deal for sure. So let me just find some footage here. Okay, so these are just videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play these videos from start to finish. Nothing on them. I may put some music on them or something if that's exciting for you guys. And what I'll do is in the corner, bottom corner down here, I will put, if it was 1080 or 4K, you probably can tell because the 4K is going to be way shakier than the actual 1080 is going to be. So I'll say if it's 4K front or 1080 front or 4K rear or 1080 rear. All right, here you go. Just testing the front-facing camera to see how it looks on the screen. I have to say that it looks actually quite good. So this is shooting video at 4K. I think it's 4K 60, I believe is what I have it set to. But on the screen, like the screen in itself is really good. So pleased so far. Let's we'll go for a walk, see what it's like when we're walking. Okay, so we have the steady shot. Oh, it's hot and yuck outside. The steady shot on right now with the 4K.
And it's even got like face and eye detection. So it's got little squares that come up over my face, and then it can see my eyes. It comes in on my eyes, so that's kind of cool. Here's my backyard, so you get an idea of how it's dealing with me in the front and the light in the back. If I kind of go in the shade here, which I'm in there, you get a little bit of blowout in the back, but that's kind of to be expected. But I think that's pretty good. All right, let's try the front camera again, or that one. That's Lucy. She's playing with a stick. She's pretty excited about her stick, I think. But the steady's pretty decent on it, I have to say. And there's some shot of our backyard. It needs to be mowed a little bit, but 'tis the time of year. And what are we getting for the back? Are we losing the blue in the sky, or do we retain the blue? It's hard to see on the screen. It looks kind of whitish, so I'm thinking that our dynamic range isn't super high, but I think the image quality is good, stability is good. So you get the blue in here now a bit more, right? But I think when there was more foreground, it had a bit of an issue with it. See, when you come over here, you just kind of get white, right? And as you tilt up, there comes the blue. Still, not too bad, not too bad. I'd accept that. I'd accept that for sure. Yeah, that's okay. A little bit more of a close-up to see if the standard gets any kind of blur in the black background when it's focusing on something in the front. We'll see when I get inside. It's really bright out here today, so we'll see. Okay, so what I've learned, at least, if you want to turn like the super steady shot on, I think it has a normal, maybe a normal like optical image stabilizer, but if you want to turn the super on, which I have been doing in a lot of these shots, it switches from 4K down to 1080 to turn the stabilizer on. And that may be the electronic stabilizer, so that it uses the 4K sensor and probably crops in a little bit. But this is, I guess, 1080. Still looks pretty good though. All right, and that's the 4K with no stabilizer on. So you see if you can see a difference at all. I'm trying to shoot the same thing, but I guess we'll see if you guys can see any difference. Hopefully you can. And because I didn't realize that the last video I took of me, the 4K wasn't 4K, it was 1080 because I had the stabilizer on. So this is the actual 4K now. I'm hoping again that it's because it has an optical image stabilizer. I'm pretty sure that that's just on all the time. When you tap the one on the screen, my guess would be that that's like an electronic one that's added to the optical. So, because that definitely, at least in camera, on the screen on the camera, it actually looks still pretty steady. So that's my hope. All right, let's take some photos.
Okay, so we've seen the camera, we've seen the benchmarks. You know what? I like this phone. I don't think it would substitute the phone that I have now because I am running like a flagship phone. But if you were on a budget, if you were looking at something a little less expensive, I think for 90% of the people out there, this would be a really great option. I really like it. It comes with the case. I like the curved. I like the size. The camera, again, for the majority of us is going to be more than adequate. I love the in-screen fingerprint detector. I think that's really good. It reacts really fast. You can, just so you guys know, you can switch the frame rate on it. So by default, it's set to adaptive, so it's going to move around, but you can switch it all the way up to 144 hertz if you choose to. For me, I'd rather have that extra battery. So it'll actually switch it when it thinks it needs it. And yeah, no, it's a fantastic little phone. Make sure you do your updates. I don't know how fast it's going to be with updates in the future. But other than that, it's good. I'm pleased. Like I said, what I'll do is I will try to put links down below if I can find any kind of pricing here in Canada or North America. If not, if you guys know of where you can pick this one up in this area, cool, let me know, and we'll put links down below. And then other than that, it seems to be a Eastern area phone for you guys over there, and I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's a great phone. All right, my friends, that's it. I'm gonna leave you there. Hopefully we can get some more phones from these guys, and we'll let you know what those are like. All right, guys, this is the 030, and I like this color. I do like that color. All right, guys, I'm out. See you tomorrow.